First and foremost, I just want to thank you for having me here because this is a really big day. I remember when I graduated from nursing, it was really hard to believe after all of the work that you've done to get where you are today that you were actually a real one of the nurses that you were joining, and that all that work that you've done, they're now going to pay you when you show up, which is a really neat feeling. But what you've achieved is really big, and I just want to let you know how big it is. First of all, I know it's a big deal what you've achieved because I did it too. But until CARE graciously invited me to be a judge in the Joan Lesman Awards, and that's an award that CARE provides to an exemplary one of you every year, I had really no sort of notion of the barriers and the struggles that it takes to become a nurse in a country other than the country where you have grown up and are educated. And in my personal experience and the experience of my daughter and my other two daughters, who are both university students as well, we grew up in a small town. We packed our bags and went to whatever university was, being attended by all of our girlfriends, and it was pretty safe and pretty familiar. And when I took part in the CARE Awards, I started to see that that's not the case for everybody who becomes a nurse in Ontario. Sometimes it is very difficult. We face situations where we have English as a second language, and while that's so incredibly important to the patients that you care for, who speak the language that you speak, so it's an incredibly valuable thing that you have, it does create sometimes some challenges for you through your education process. The process of just getting to Canada is sometimes a really big process, and certainly having people who are less familiar with the internationally educated nurses and what they bring can sometimes be a barrier that you have to work your way through as well. So I have to thank CARE for helping me understand that whole thing better. You're entering nursing at a really great time, but I bet you don't know it, because we've been so surrounded in nursing with so much talk about cutbacks and who's got a job and the rates of being hired, that we've lost the vision of what is just right here in front of us on the horizon. And the reality is that the horizon is looking very difficult in terms of how are we going to find enough nurses, not how are you going to find work. I have three daughters who are all very close to being university graduates. One already has graduated, the second one just finished. And one of them has a degree in political science, one of them is a nurse, and one of them is studying a Bachelor of Fine Arts, meaning she's a painter. So this one, the nurse, will work, and she will work more than she probably wants to work. The other two, with the economy and the state of our countries being the way they are, will have a struggle in front of them. But you as nurses are coming into nursing at a time when we're expecting the nursing shortage very shortly to ramp up into something that's very difficult. And you will become the crown in our the crowning jewel for us, because you will have come from outside of our country to help our country meet the needs of our people. That's incredibly important. I also want to mention that I have had the really good fortune to teach in the practical nursing program at Humber College. Now, I'm from a town in the middle of farmland in southern Ontario, where everybody looked like me, sounded like me. This is everybody in my town. And I went to a school that looked much like that as well when I became a nurse. But teaching at Humber, I've gotten to know people from different cultures. I have learned so much. Sometimes I felt like saying, you gave me a paycheck to teach here today, but I feel like I need to give it back, because I learned far more than my students learned from me. Because I've learned the value of the multicultural nursing team and what people bring to the table when they can help us see things through eyes that we have not seen things through before. So I'm a better nurse for having encountered internationally educated nurses and people who study nursing here that are from an international background. So I want to say congratulations. I'm so proud to share this profession with you. You've achieved something very big today, and so welcome to nursing.